Welcome to Love Never Lost by Carla, where I usually give you guys tons of dating and relationship advice from my own personal lessons that I've learned, but also I'm starting to give you guys a small peek at my personal life and how things are going for me personally in hopes to enrich your own life. So don't do as I do as I say in this one, because I have learned a lot of hard lessons. Today in this video, in this vlog rather, we are going to go ahead and dive in how I lost 50 pounds in just 4 months. Yes, you heard correctly. That was 50 pounds in only 4 months. Not playing no games. Let's go ahead and get started. So first I want to say I am so excited about giving dishing out this info to you guys, dishing out these gems to you guys today, because so many of you all, I know because I was in your position wearing your shoes at one point, just didn't know how I was going to come up with this. I personally grew up a very skin thinny type chick, a type little girl, and after I had like my third child in my 20s, that is when I began to put on loads of pounds. After my third, I wound up having 4, but it was after my third that I wound up putting on a whole lot of pounds, and so I have struggled since then. And I had her in 2002. So since 2002, to give you a history of my weight and my ups and downs and my weights, I was really literally struggling. I went into, and back then I started off at 145 when I first started having children. And I kind of went up into like, even 180 was big to me back then. When I was 180, that was huge because I was so used to being 140s, 135, 140. And so to me, I was like, wow, I gained, what, 40 pounds? I'm fat. So I always mentally, I struggled, even though physically, to look at pictures back then, I was not that big. Somehow I made my way and climbed my way to the 200s. And so guys, I'm currently like 200 pounds, and I'm waiting for and going to celebrate the fact that I have made it out of that 200-pound club. I'm definitely going to be celebrating. I don't know how I'm gonna celebrate. I haven't figured it all out, but let's go ahead and jump into this video. I want to just let you guys know that today I wanted to push out this video just to encourage you all who feel like you'll always be in that place, and you don't have to be. That is why I'm sharing my information with you today, so it can go from my heart to your heart, because I understand your mental state. I understand where you are. Let's go ahead. So I'm so excited, guys. I started off at 220. Now I'm not talking about when I was younger. I'm talking about this year. No, to 2022. Let's go back to 2022. I was 220 pounds. And from 2022 to 2024, I gained 30 pounds. And try to just not get any bigger, right? So I originally was at 250. I wound up being at 250 from 2022 to 2024. From 220, I'm gonna say it again because it was a little riff-raffy, from 220 in 2022 to 250 by the time I reached 2 in 2024, which is this year, March. This year, March, by that time I was 250 pounds. I was 250 pounds. And so about the beginning of April, let's say about the beginning of April, guys, I had a life change. I was, it wasn't good. And so I decided enough was enough. And sometimes, guys, you have to get to the point where you are just so done. I feel like a lot of you all are like that, but you don't know where to start. And so that's why I'm here to help you in your journey. Now, when I first began, and I started this journey in April of this year, all the way to July. This is where I'm kind of clocking it, telling you guys details based upon from April of 2024 to July. Okay, we're in August currently. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to take you guys to where my mindset was. While I was this heavy, I've showed you guys, look to the left in my thumbnail where it shows the green dress. This is the mindset I was carrying at that particular time. So during that time, I was depressed. I was mildly depressed. I'm not gonna say I was all the way, but I was pretty down in the dumps, guys, and just struggling to keep my mental state healthy as possible at this time, guys. I was definitely going through a hardship. I was going through a divorce during this time. And this started in 2022. And so I was going through a divorce. I was eating my life away, literally, guys. I was eating my life away. I was going through a divorce, and that picture was taken, that big girl picture was taken last year in 2023. I was going through a divorce, and so this was a very difficult time for me personally, mentally. And I used food as a way, and guys, I got my notes here because I want to tell you guys everything, so I have to write stuff down and be organized with this, right? So I want to say that I was using food as a way to cope with the sadness of losing my family. I really wasn't at that time trying to lose weight. So I was coping with the sadness of divorce, of loss, of just a weird time in my personal life. And that is why I chose to turn to food at that time instead of God at that time, because this was all a shock. Like, everything just happened so fast. And so that is what I did at that time. And what was I eating? The next thing is, what was I eating? I was going out to restaurants. I was eating potato chips. I was eating pastas. Let me know if this sounds like you. I was eating, I was heavy on the meats. I was heavy on the French fries, mac and cheese, rice, real heavy on the bread, y'all. Stop playing. I was heavy on anything. Starches, grits in the morning time. I was heavy on cereal because I'm a cereal eater. I like cereal. Now, I don't want to say love because I've switched my language. I don't want to say love anymore. But guys, y'all know what I want to say, but I'm switching my language so that I won't find an attachment to foods any longer. So I'm trying to be careful all the way around, so I never have to return to those dark days again. And so yes, I was eating a lot of sweets. I was drinking a lot of soda, a lot of sweet teas, a lot of candy. I'm trying to think, whatever is bad for you, ice cream, whatever is bad for you, cake, I was eating it. I'm just telling you, I was eating it, not even holding back. And I was eating all times of the night too. So, but in April, I made up my mind. And that's what you have to get to the point where you're so tired of being sick and tired. You gotta make up your mind. I made up my mind finally to lose weight because I was tired of looking in the mirror and being unhappy. I was so tired of that. You look in the mirror, you're not happy. And that would only drive me deeper into a sadness. Even though people around me was calling me beautiful. And I must say, as a big girl, when I look back on my pictures now, I wasn't really bad. And my body was kind of banging, right? I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm not trying to boost myself up, but looking back, I'm being honest with you guys and really frank, transparent today. When I look back on those pictures when I was a big girl, guys, my body was a little okay. It was a little proportion there, okay? So I can finally admit that. But I was not happy. Because remember, I originally started in my 20s at 145. I wasn't used to, I'm still not used to all that baggage, okay? I'm not used to all that extra. Okay, here is how. Let's go ahead and dive into, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to tell you guys. Right now I can't think of it, so here's how I actually lost 50 pounds in 4 months. Now you guys, at the sound of that, I'm surprised because when I first started the journey in April of 2024 this year, I did not think, not that I would not succeed, but it would not happen that fast. I didn't know I was going to lose that fast. I am currently at 200 and my goal is 170. I will settle for 180 but I really want that 170, 175, that's 30 pounds. If I settle for 180, it'll be like 20 more pounds. At this point, when I hear myself say, I have 20 more pounds to go, 30 more pounds to go, literally, I'm not afraid because I know how to do it. If you can lose 50 pounds in 4 months, or if you can lose 50 pounds, period, there is some systematic way you're losing. There is something you have mastered. And right now, I'm pretty gosh darn confident that I can lose weight now. Versus, and I want to say it took a lot of self-care. It took a mind frame to self-care, to take care of myself. So if you have kids, I have 4 children, okay? Guys, I know I have 4 kids, and I was married. If you know anything about being busy, and not just busy, overly busy, then you're literally going through this journey. It was a fight for myself because people are always tagging you in on, hey, can you take me here? Can you do this for me? Can you do that? Like, seriously, learn to say a little no nicely. Or what I became good at, besides saying no, is I became really good at changing it to my schedule. Listen, I can't do it that day, but I'm free for this day at this specific time. These are just some life lessons, guys. I'm in my 40s. You might be in your 20s or your 30s. You got this. Don't be nasty with it. I'm not really a nasty person all the time. No, most of the time I'm not. Unless it's protocol that I need to be. But other than that, I am the sweetest piece type person. Usually, yes, I am. I must say that. But you don't have to be mean when you say it. You can be really sweet, okay? You don't have to be a mean girl or guy. Let's dive in, guys. I'm sorry, I don't know where they came from, but I hope it encouraged you. So here's how I lost 50 pounds in 4 months. The first thing I want to say is that I mimicked the keto diet. Number 1, get your pens, get your pass out. This is game. I'm giving you guys free game today. Number 1, I mimic the keto diet. And if any of you all are familiar with the keto diet, that's pretty much meat, veggies, healthy fats such as avocados, or fruit. And the only type of fruit that you can have is in the berry family, if I'm not mistaken. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, if I'm not mistaken, it's only pretty much in that berry family. And so the reason why I'm telling you that I mimic keto is because I did not stick to all the rules, because what I'm not gonna do, and this is just for me personally, what I'm not gonna do is downsize my fruits. Okay, I wanna eat apples when I wanna eat apples, grapes when I wanna eat grapes, I want to eat strawberries, and I think strawberries is in that family too, along the keto framework, rather. I believe strawberries is in there. Strawberries, bananas, oranges, and so I'm outside the box with my fruits. But I pretty much kept it where I ate a meat, and that was just sometimes for me. I'll dig into that a little later on, because keto is all about that protein, baby. So I ate a meat, I chose a veggie, which a lot of times, guys, a lot of times, yes, a veggie was some type of fresh veggie, and then I ate a fruit of choice, okay? I may have like a small fruit salad. Also, I did not, you can't have sugary drinks or high caloric type beverages. So I pretty much fell in love with seltzer water, but I noticed that with seltzer water dried my mouth out. So if I felt like a Coke or something, I turned to seltzer water, or they have different fruity type. They have coconut, grape, strawberries, kiwi. They have different types of seltzer water, so you don't have to get bored. But seltzer water, if any of you all have not tried it, it just gives you that Coke-like, Sprite-like fizz to it with a little flavor, whichever one they decided to add in there. And then I also went from regular milk to like almond milk, oat milk. I stopped with all dairy. No, I'm not gonna say all because I was eating cheese. And cheese, by the way, is welcome on keto. Guys, do your research if you're interested. But the cheese is welcome on there. But I stopped because, for me personally, this must be too, TMI. But I'm gonna share it with your friends today. Don't tell anyone. But during the phase that I was gaining a lot of weight, I noticed a change in my process of going to the restroom and being a big girl, okay? And it was that it slowed down because I was not eating enough veggies. And so when I got on keto, I noticed that it was picking up slowly but surely, but also I knew that the cheese was holding me back. And so I decided I don't even really buy cheese. Every so often I do. And I stopped with that dairy and switched it to like more healthier oat milk or almond milk in my opinion, instead of dairy. Let's move on. So what did I eat? I'm gonna give you an example of what I ate. For breakfast, let's say that a lot of times, guys, it got to the point when I first was losing weight, I was not playing, y'all. So your girl was having stuff like 2 scrambled eggs or sunny side up, however I want it. I might sprinkle a little cheese if I had some on top, with a bowl of fruits, and that probably was like some blueberries with some grapes, or blueberries, because I learned that I like blueberries, and so, or blueberries with some pineapple. And then I'll have me like a small portion, decent sized portion of fresh veggies. And my choice was kale or spinach. And by the way, guys, during my research, if you were having problems going to the big girl bathroom like me to a certain point when I gained all that weight, spinach is your best friend. And some of y'all say, oh, I hate spinach, but if you eat it raw, you can't even hardly taste it. And that was my thing. So if you eat it raw, cut up with some tomatoes or whatever you want to put in there to make you a mini salad, and I pretty much had my salad based upon, I kept kale and I kept spinach, guys. So again, the meat pushed out my salad of kale and spinach and whatever else, cucumbers I wanted to add to it, and a choice of fruit, seltzer water, milk, whatever I chose to drink. It just was not soda, some type of sweet tea, sugary drink. I just kind of got rid of those, right? And then the next thing, number two. So we got the keto, okay? I mimicked keto. And then number 2, guys, I participated heavily. I was so determined in intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting and I became like this. And I'm gonna tell you why, because it's easier than what I thought. Intermittent fasting, all it is choosing a window to eat. It's basically deciding when you will eat and when you want. Typically, during the 16-hour intermittent fasting, they have different hours, guys. I think it's the 12, the 14, the 16, the 18, the 20, you know. So that means I was doing at first the 16-hour where I was doing 8 hours of eating. I had between, when I would wake up, I would push off my breakfast to noon. And I would eat at 12 noon to 8 p.m. at night. Again, I would wake up and push off my breakfast. And how did I do that? I started actually drinking. I should have showed you guys my tea. I have, a friend of mine turned me on to tea and I haven't looked back since. So I drink chamomile, I drink ginger, turmeric tea. I drink Early Grey. That's just a popular breakfast brand of tea, in case you're not. So I'm not a coffee drinker. I was putting a little bit of the, what do you call that? Like French vanilla. I was putting hazelnut. I was putting that just to give it a taste, but now I usually use just nothing but almond milk because I didn't want to push over. On the keto diet, you have like a 50-gram calorie chance that you can stay at. Like you can only go to those 50 grams of sugar. You can't go over that amount, or carbs rather, or to push you out the ketosis, which is where your body, that is too much, guys. Look up this keto diet. Oh my God, I could go on and on. So the keto diet is really good for using your own stored up fat. Using your own stored up fat to burn instead of fresh fat that you're eating. If that makes sense, the best I could do. It is really good for that. And intermittent fasting goes hand in hand with it. It does the same. It goes to your stored fat that your body has. So all this big fat here, pounds of fat and weight I have on my hips, it was going to my storage because I was no longer putting a lot of fat items, fat enriched items into my mouth. It had no choice but to burn the fat that was stored inside my body. That's the best way I could tell you guys. So I was doing the 16-hour intermittent fasting where it would leave me only 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating, guys. I tore that up. And what I did was I leaned there in that space for quite a while. And then as I got stronger, because it gets to the point where you're no longer hungry. And then what I did was I notched it up to 6 hours, 6-hour eating window, and then I wouldn't eat for the rest of the day, 18. I wouldn't eat for 18 hours. Then I got up to 4 hours. I only had like from 12 to 4, 12 to 5 that I only ate. That is what I did. Because the intermittent fasting helps you not be hungry. And when you team it with that keto, your body's not craving sugars any longer because you're no longer partaking of that. It's very minimal that you're partaking. The 50 grams is nothing, guys, of the carbs and the sugars. And let's not forget that the carbs, potatoes, all that stuff, the mac and cheese, the pasta, all of that. When you eat it, it turns into sugar inside your body. And so your body's constantly craving it. You don't have to only eat sweets in order for your body to continue to crave it. Your body literally will still crave sweets whether you eat it or not, but if you're eating those carbs, because it turns into sugar, you'll still keep craving that sugar. All right, let's move on, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about keto or intermittent fasting. And what I did, here's my secret that kept me. It was a struggle. This is not easy, guys, but it's not as hard as I thought it would be either. When I was doing the 16-8 or the 18-6, I think that's 6, yeah, or the 18-6, let me tell you. Once I ate, let's say I did the 12 to 8 window. Once I ate my dinner by 8 o'clock, if I got hungry, and some nights I did, I pushed liquids. I pushed almond milk or oat milk, whichever one was in the refrigerator. I pushed my sweet teas with no sugar, or maybe just a drop of hazelnut, just a little smidge. I pushed seltzer water. Those were my choices. I no longer turned to food after my window closed. I became a drinker, technically. I became a serious drinker, guys. So that was my secret to staying like, oh. All right, number 3's my secret. I exercise. So you got your keto helping you burn that fat. You got your intermittent fasting helping you burn that fat. Don't be like me and get dangerous and then exercise during your fasting state. When you first wake up, let's think about it. If you're doing 16 hours of fasting, at 8 p.m., I go ahead and push. When I wake up, I push my breakfast off to 12. From 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., that's 12 hours. And then, what am I pausing for? And then, because I'm thinking about it. So 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is 12 hours. And when you finally eat at 12 noon, that's 16 hours. Well, in between, before 12 noon, for some reason, I would get up and go walking. Because during this time, my mental was heavy. I was going through a divorce. And so I would push walking, which helped my mental. I was more focused during this time on my mental than I was actually losing weight when it came to the exercise. I just was. Walking, seeing trees, hearing the birds sing, looking at the flowers, whatever. Going outside for me really helped, guys. Get up out the house, go join the gym, whichever one you're more comfortable with, or go walking. The weather's pretty nice. And so I exercised while I was in a fasted state. I'm sure I burned extra calories. But I went walking twice a day. I exercised twice a day. I went in the morning time and I went at night again. either to the gym or walking around the neighborhood for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, guys. I went one direction for 20 minutes and turned around and went the other, so 40. Whatever you can do, 30 minutes one direction, turn around, do a U-turn, and then turn around to get back home. That is what I did. My mental state was not good during that time, and that is why I did that. You may not be able to exercise twice a day. That's just not your life. That's understandable. But you're doing the hardest part in the kitchen is where it starts. All right, so if you can do 2 days out the week, 3 days, weekends only, whatever, according to your schedule, get some in. It's great for up here. Next, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, I ate less meats. Let's be really clear about something. Losing weight, you will lose weight as long as you're in a calorie deficit. So I think typically for women it's 2,000 to 2,500. I don't know, guys, it's around that range. And I was at, sometimes depending on your height or whatever, it is your body weight, it is 1,800 or something like that. But I was at 13 to 15. I was at 13 to 15 calories a day. And sometimes at 1,000. I'm not even playing. I think I was under that because all I was doing was some meals I would even skip the meats. The meats hold the most of the calories. And it's great to get your protein in. And believe me, this is why, again, I said I mimic keto diet because the keto diet push proteins. And as a matter of fact, if you're on the keto diet, it tells you to do 3 to 4 ounces of meat with each meal. I was not doing that. I was not doing that. Because first of all, it gets to the point where you're not eating 3 meals a day, you're eating 2. You're eating at least 2 meals a day as you close your window. And when you get really small, like I did, I went from 16 hours to 22 hours of my intermittent fasting. I was only eating 1 meal a day at some point because I was not playing. So yeah, I cut back on those meats. I did a lot of meals without the meat. I did, because they hold most of your calories. If you're eating the meat, you pushing kale, spinach, salad, and a fruit choice, and some water. The kale and spinach and the fruit, pretty much a lot of times does not, you're not gonna be heavy calorie with that. It's the meat that's like 300 calories, 500 calories, depending on how you prepare it, depending on what type of meat it is. It can get up there. And a lot of times, like I said, I just wasn't having any. And lastly, guys, I'm trying to make sure that this is all I got. Lastly, guys, I portion control. This is how I got started. I portion control my meals. Let me show you. A dear friend of mine purchased me some portion control cups. They are just the cutest thing. This here is 1 cup. So I started off, if I was having anything that was bad, went in this cup. And it was like cereal. And then I didn't even have to eat it in the cup. I just measured it and poured it into whatever container. You will find what 1 cup looks like. Now I can do 1 cup and I don't even need these. But I started off with this. And what I found was, as time went on with the keto, the intermittent fasting, the exercising, my stomach must have shrunk because it got to the point where I didn't even need this 1 cup container anymore. But instead, I went down. I hope this is my half. Guys, this is 3/4, okay? I don't know where my half cup is, but I went down to my half cup. No, I went down to my 3rd, 4th cup first. I was at 1 cup, I went down to 3/4 a cup. Like, I don't really want, you get to the point that I don't really need all that. Does it take, I don't need all this rice and pasta or mac and cheese or whatever it is in here, potatoes, mashed potatoes, it went here. I don't need all that. This is just the cutest. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This one here is the half a cup. Okay, so this is the 1 cup. Okay, this is my 3/4 cup. And this is the half a cup. And you guys say, well, where did you get that from? And the person that bought it, my great dear friend, they bought it from Amazon. They bought it from Amazon. They bought, this is for fats. If you want like avocado or whatever, it will go here. Okay. They even labeled the cups. This one is labeled dressings and seeds. This goes here in 2 tablespoons. Look how little this is. So I bought the little measuring cups here. Now I didn't get it, but my friend did. Very dear friend of mine got the measuring cups for me. And that is what I did to lose 50 pounds in just 4 months. Guys, with these 30 pounds, I'm so looking to the future. My birthday is in October, and I plan to be, if I'm not at my 30, almost there. If I'm not at my 30, almost there. Guys, I enjoyed you all so much today. I had a great time sharing this information with you. If you need me to dig in more in a certain area, give you more details, I really want to know what's holding you back. If you could leave that in a comment, what is really holding you back? Why haven't you lost what you wanted to lose? What's going on, friend? And so, guys, if you could even give me some pointers on how I can lose the next 20 to 30 pounds, anything. This is a community here. Welcome to Love Never Lost. And from my heart to yours is what I shared today. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.